Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for a space adventure. Old Woe and his buddy's spaceship is low on fuel, but thankfully no damage was done. The space station might just need to spin around to get to the right dock. Honestly, Old Woe isn't keen on using the previous method to chase after the ship. The fuel is running low and wants support that long of a distance. After adjusting the spacecraft's posture, he decided to channel his inner Fast and Furious to open the docking system early. Old Woe started his space drifting competition. Subtitles: he must accelerate desperately to 110 m/s to match the station, shifting directions constantly, and dock precisely when it rises. You get it? Old Woe's no ordinary man. Old Woe encourages himself, every minute counts. I must move left, right, up, down, forward, backward. Stay calm, buddy. Keep you cool, no rushing. Maintain that elegance. Alright, darling. Quick kiss, now shut it down. Speed is lacking, stay calm, must stay calm. Subtitles: awesome. Old Woe's superb skills lead to successful docking. Victor can hardly bear it. The Grand Commander, drenched in sweat and to a grov or until low translated as eyes shut tight here for brevity, put on his headset, asking Old Woe urgently, warning. Crew unite. Solid sim launched successfully, hold on. Wow, you all are truly fantastic. We were frightened as well, and the atmosphere here is just getting more intense. Oh, they nailed the most dangerous first step. Everyone cheers and celebrates, but little do they know, this is just the beginning of a space adventure. Naturally, the ground control is ready, and everyone is heading to the space station to do some troubleshooting. The pressure is quite the cliffhanger. They had no choice but to let the engineer be the guinea pig. If anything goes wrong, Old Woe will be the one to direct a safe landing for the space station. In this situation, the two had no choice but to obey orders, once Old Woe returned to the ship and secured the hatch. Victor, gritting his teeth in determination, opened the hatch of the space station, preferring to risk his life rather than hesitate. The pressure inside the cabin seemed stable, but the temperature dropped like a freezer, frost everywhere. The power system went kaput, turning the space station into a massive icebox. Old Woe opened the panel only to find it frozen inside. The busted pipe is what caused Old Woe let out a sigh, realizing the ice inside resembled Harbin, and soon the commander notified them. If we can't fix the space station in 5 days, we'll implement the crash landing plan. Once the order was issued, everyone got to work. The crew used pipes to blow hot air from the ship into the space station for easier work, opening windows to let sunlight in too. Then Victor removed a heat sink from the circuit. After a major makeover, he fashioned it into a space heater. Calculations show full power can raise the station's temp by 5/8°C. Act fast to exit freeze mode, no delay. Victor handled the wiring, while Old Woe positioned the solar panels just right to catch the sunlight. Once all adjustments, they found that the heater was nice and toasty. As time passed, the ice began to melt. When they opened the hatch again, they were both shocked and delighted. However, the thaw took nearly 2 days, and they had no time to relax. Old Woe blew water droplets aside with Victor used buckets to collect water, but after inserting equipment, droplets filled the chamber, prompting him to close the hatch quickly. After spending a day working in the freezing conditions, the two checked their temperatures that night, and to their dismay, Old Woe hit his actual temp. He was running a fever at 30. At that moment, he asked Victor to get a water pouch from the corner. Turns out, it was a pack of vodka. Victor was curious about how Old Woe smuggled alcohol into space, yet Old Woe didn't answer, just squeezed the vodka pouch, and gulped vodka like that. For the tough, herbs and meds don't matter, vodka beats flu. After a brief rest the next day, both hurriedly dived into cleaning the electrical component. But the surrounding water was impossible to clean. Despite the two being super careful, one droplet still made its way into the ship. Meanwhile, Victor tried to power the space station, but got no reaction after wiring. So Old Woe suited up and went for an external check, and after his familiar spacewalk, he spotted impact marks. Realizing that the sensors were severely deformed, which caused the station's power failure, the commander quickly arranged for engineers to fabricate a model for research. Then he ordered Old Woe to return to the ship. Before finishing his sentence, Old Woe suddenly lost contact with the ground. He quickly contacted Victor only to find out the ship was smoking. Through the viewing window, Old Woe saw chaos inside the ship and rushed back swiftly. At this very moment, he happened to spot Victor being swept to the opposite side by the airflow. With no time to fasten his seat belt, Old Woe leaped out directly, barely managing to keep his balance. Subtitle: Old Woe swiftly swam towards the hatch. By this time, chaos had already prevailed inside, and 8 hours of losing contact left the families of the 2 astronauts in utter despair. Meanwhile, the commander received orders to destroy the space station, fully aware it could cost human lives. The Soviets had no choice, while an American rocket had already launched. The injured Victor was thankful to still be alive as the fire was extinguished by depressurization. However, the spacecraft was completely destroyed, so the 2 could only remain in the frigid space station. After reconnecting with ground control, Aldworth reported their status. The fire destroyed the ship's oxygen system and ventilation failed. This fire had wrecked the space station's systems, and it was time to strategize a contingency plan. How could they think a fire would destroy everything? The 2 astronauts definitely weren't going to give up that easily. This space adventure has only just begun. Want to know what happens next? Subscribe to us, we won't let you down.